Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my C++ tutorial. Today we'll be discussing factors. And now, what are factors? Well, factors are a group of units of measurement that has both a magnitude and direction. No, I'm just kidding, not that kind of factors. Well, these factors are actually similar to arrays and they are used pretty much the same way. And basically, factors allow you to store a sequence of same data type. But in order to use factors, we need to put the factor syntax in the library. Include factor. Which also means we are going to have access to a bunch of predefined functions in our factor class. Now, what's the format of declaring factor? First of all, you're going to have to type out factor, and inside here will be your data type, and over here will be the name of factor. Now, let's create our first factor. Factor, I'm going to use integer and name it my factor. Now, the sweet thing about factors is that it resizes for you automatically every time you add any element to it. But right now we don't have anything inside of factor, so let's figure out how to add something in. In order to add something in, just type out the name of factor and dot push back. So my factor dot push back. And inside the parentheses will be the data type you want to put. And in this case, we only can use integer, so I'm just gonna put any random number, maybe like 4. Okay. Now let's figure out to print this out. First, I'm going to print out a message says factor cout factor. And then down here for the this is to return the size of the factor. So we'll type out integer I equals to 0. This means the factor starts at the very beginning. Then I less than my factor dot size. And don't forget the I++. There are two ways to do this. First, you can do cout my factor dot at, and inside here will be your index number. Or you can do just like arrays, with just like this index number in here, and over here I'm gonna put this. I think that's all I want to do right now. I'm going to add a cout end line right here. Now let's run the program and see what we will get. There you go, factor 4. Now, why don't we try to put more factors? Let's copy this and paste. Okay, let's change the number. 3, 7, 12, 6. Let's run this. There you go, factor 4, 3, 7, 12, 6. Factor 4, 3, 7, 12, 6. Okay, it works. Now, I want to show you more factor functions, and that's pretty much the end of the video. So I first show you the my factor dot pushback, and inside here will be some sort of value. And what this function does is it basically adds an element to the end of the factor. It also resizes it. Keep this in mind because obviously the size changes each time you do the pushback. And the next I show you is my factor dot adds, and inside here will be the index number. And what this does is it returns element at specify index number. And the next one is my factor dot size, and what this does is it returns an integer equal to the number of elements. And now the next function, the new function I want to show you is my factor dot begin. And what this function does is it reads factor from the first element, which is known as the index number, index 0, I'm sorry. Then the next function I want to show you is my factor dot insert, and inside here you have to type out my factor dot begin, and over here please add some sort of integer. This is optional. You don't really have to add this. I will explain this at the later of the tutorial. And over here will be your new value, which is known as your second parameter. And what this function does is it adds element before specify index number. Remember that every time you want to use the insert functions, you will always have to put a begin function inside the parentheses. Now let's go down here and start our insert function. Just type out my factor dot insert, and then type out my factor dot begin. Now just typing out like this is going to start from the very beginning of the factors. Now over here let's add 5. Now the 5 is going to add to the very beginning of the function. Now let's print this out. Just copy this and this. Okay, CL for okay. Now let's print out the message. There you go. Look at our second factor. 5, 4, 3, 7, 12, 6. Yeah, now the 5 is added to the very beginning of the factor. It works. Awesome.